Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to attend this webinar, the first in a series of 3 on the secret behind recommendation engines, something that companies like Netflix, Amazon and Domino's use to provide recommendations to their customers. This can not only improve company profits, but can also have a positive impact on the customer experience. In this webinar, we're going to explore how to build a simple recommendation system using Selerity BA powered by SAS Business Analytics. My name is Michael Dixon and I am the Managing Director of Selerity. Also with me is Kayleen Dixon, co-founder and financial controller of Selerity. I'm going to take you through some background information on our offering, and Kayleen will then give us a quick demonstration of using Selerity BA to create a simple recommendation system using some movie data. Before we start, there are a few housekeeping items that I'd like to cover. Today's webinar will be available to watch after this live session, and you can access it using the same link you are using now, as well as via our YouTube channel. We'd also love to hear from you during today's presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A tab at the top of your chat window. We'll be answering questions at the end of the session, but if we don't get to your question today, we will be sure to follow up with you afterwards. This webinar is part 1 in a 3-part series. Selerity offer a number of different managed packages that include SAS software, and the 3 that we have chosen for this series are based on SAS Business Analytics, SAS Data Science Starter, and SAS Data Science Accelerated licenses from SAS. SAS Business Analytics is the package we will be using today, and this includes SAS Visual Analytics and nearly all the available SAS data connectors running on the SAS Via platform. Our Selerity BA package provides this software and all the infrastructure, management and support needed to use it. Part 2 will show what can be achieved when we add SAS Visual Statistics to the mix, which is included in the SAS Data Science Starter license. And part 3 will showcase the power of having machine learning and AI capabilities added, which is what you get with the SAS Data Science Accelerated package. So, what are we covering today? Today I'm going to be giving you a very high-level overview of what a recommendation system is, and then we're going to walk through creating one using Selerity BA. In the demonstration, Kayleen is also going to be showing you how easy it is to import and get started visualizing data using SAS Business Analytics. And then she will create a report that we can use to suggest what movie a user may want to watch. I'm sure that many of you know what a recommendation system is, and I'm pretty confident that every one of you has experienced them in some shape or form. It's nearly impossible to not have come across them, from browsing Netflix, ordering a pizza online, or even just using Google to search for something. They are essentially systems that look at past behaviour, assess your current behaviour, and then provide you suggestive and hopefully helpful feedback. Just like in the picture here. For example, if you are shopping online for, let's say, a monitor, you might get the message saying, customers who bought this monitor also purchased this kind of HDMI cable. In the past, it was difficult to build these kinds of systems because they rely so much on data for the past behaviour component. Those of us old enough to remember having to order pizza by phoning up the local pizza joint might have been lucky enough to order so much that they remember who you are and can suggest that you try the chicken meat lovers because you ordered the normal meat lovers last week. But that would be a rare event compared to what happens these days. Now, the big pizza chains can have a record of every time anyone orders a pizza from any of their stores and can use that to model customer behaviour and then provide you with a personalised suggestion as to what pizza topping you may like to try now. Selerity BA is the name we have given to our offering that includes a SAS Business Analytics license, infrastructure and support. For a monthly fee, we provide affordable access to software from the world's leading analytics software provider, the SAS Institute, already installed and ready for you to use. In addition, you also get Python and Jupyter, allowing you to leverage these open source tools while having them pre-integrated with SAS. The service is fully managed, meaning you don't have to invest in administration staff, servers, and all the other tasks that come along with that, like patching, monitoring, etc. All of that's managed for you and included in the subscription fee. Essentially, we just want you to focus on getting results. Our aim in this first webinar is to build something in SAS Business Analytics that can give us some kind of recommendation about what movie we may like to watch. We are going to be using movie rating data from MovieLens to do this, which contains 25 million reviews of 62,000 movies provided by 162,000 users. As this is a very simple recommendation system, we are not going to be using any statistical methods or machine learning, etc. Our method will be to identify what the favourite genre or category is for a specific user, and then identify what the most highly rated movies are within that category that everyone else but that user has watched and rated. So, with all that said, I will now pass you over to Kayleen to run through how to achieve this.
Alright, first we're going to sign into our Selerity BA system. And when that opens, we should go to the default share and collaborate area, which we are. If it doesn't, we can click on the hamburger menu and select share and collaborate. So first thing I'm going to do is create a project which will let me keep all my work together in the one area. To do that, I'm going to click on the new project button, and then from here I can name my project, and we'll call it Movie Recommendation System, and then enter a description. Sorry, my timing's a little bit slow. And my spelling's not that great. Alright. And from here, once I finish, then I can add some members, staff who might want to access the project. I'll add Cameron and Michael. To help people find the project later on, I'm going to add some tags. We can also add a picture, change the picture if you like, if you've got a specific picture for the project. We're not going to do it this time. Each project has 3 areas: activity, content and data. Activity shows you all the events that have happened in your project, which would be good for audit trails and also for who's done what and when. Content shows you all the various SAS via content, and data gives you fast access to the data sets in the project. In the content area, I'm going to create a couple of folders to organise my data and reports. First one I'll call data. Then and create another one. And this one will be webinar 1. Okay, so now let's import data. There's a number of different ways you can import data with SAS Via, but I'm going to use SAS Data Explorer. We can get to this by clicking the hamburger menu and selecting Manage Data. The SAS Data Explorer lets you import data from many different sources, and the Selerity BA package comes with nearly all the available SAS data connectors, including social media sources such as Twitter, Facebook feeds, Google Analytics feeds, YouTube, and Google Drive. I've downloaded the data from Movie Lens, which comes in a number of CSV files. Importing these files is really easy. I can just drag and drop them. So for each of the files, I'm going to save them into the movie source target location. There it is. And then I will enter a label for them and tell the system to replace them if they already exist. So now we'll do the next file. We'll replace it, choose the location. It's just have to do this for every file. It does take a while. We can't do it all at once. So we pick the next one, choose the target, if I can find it, label, and replace. Sorry, takes a bit. I'm not going to need all the files today. We'll only need movies and ratings, but we might as well import them because we can use these files at a later date. Last one. And then when that's done, we can go up and import all by hitting the Import All button. The ratings data set might take a little while to import. It's got around 30 million records. One thing you'll notice, I don't have to wait for the imports to finish before I can do other things. So I'm going to go into my project and add the imported files. So let me go into the movie source data and find the files that I'm importing. I've picked the same location as the target as the source, and you'll see CSV files along with the SAS HDAT files, which are the ones I want to add to the project. So we can link that one. And movies. Ratings. Not that one. That one must be left over from the guys when they were playing with the data. So we've added those. You'll notice if I click on a data set, it will show me the column names, how many columns, how many rows, and the size. If we take a look at the movie data set, we can see that it has around 62,000 rows. And if I look at ratings, you can see that it has 25 million rows. I want to use the movies and ratings data, but at the moment they are in two separate tables. I can put them together by using SAS Data Studio, which is accessed via the Prepare Data menu item. To work with data in SAS Data Studio, I'll need to create a new plan, and I'll start with movies table. So let's select that and then click the OK button. Okay, once that loads, we can see a sample of our movie data, and I can see a few things that we'll need to change. In our columns, the categories are all in the same column and separated by a pipe symbol. We've got the main category and the subcategories. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to separate them. We have to split them into two fields. I do this by selecting split and then add transform. So from there I'm going to select the source column and pick genre. Then in the delimiter I'll change that to other and add a pipe symbol. I'll rename column 1 to main. And then take off the S there. And column 2 will make that sub. So if I click the run button, I'll be able to see if it's worked the way I wanted it to. And there we go, it has. So the next thing you'll notice is the year is at the end of the title. My staff's given me some code that'll help me, that'll put the years in a new column for me. So I want to use calculated column, there it is, and then add transform. I can paste in the code that I was given and then create a new column. I'll name that year, and then I'll run that and we'll see what I get. Now I will join this data to the ratings data by using the join transform. In here, I need to select the rating data set. There we go. And then I can click OK to add. The system automatically detects what the join keys should be. I don't want to select all the columns, so I'm going to untick this box, and then I'm going to remove the duplicate movie ID and the original genre field. While I'm here, I'm going to add some labels to the columns. Main genre. Sorry. We add the names so we get nice names on the reports. Add the labels. Sub. Title, year, rating, timestamp, last one, user ID. Then click OK, and then I'm going to want to save it into my project area. So I'll navigate down to the movie recommendation project, select the data folder, sorry. I'm going to call it report data. I'll also call the target table name report data and make the label report data also. I'm going to press the save button. Once that's done, I can run the data plan. Okay, now that's finished and my data's ready. I can close the data plan and I can start to create my dashboard by going to Explore and Visualize. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my data. So let's find my new report data table. Okay, there it is. I'll add that. Next, I'm going to change some of the fields that SAS has identified as measures to categories. So all we're going to be left with is ratings as the only measure. A cool feature within SAS is that I can ask it to explain what it knows about a variable. So let's go ahead and do that for rating. We can see that it's doing its thing. Not sure how long it'll take. So we can see that it has come back and said that main genre is the field most related to rating. And I can also see that film noir is the most highly rated category. If I maximise this window, it'll explain the logic it used to come up with this information. Now let's create a user dashboard. I'm going to first grab user ID and throw that onto the canvas. I would have preferred usernames, but this data doesn't contain names. The first thing I notice is that the first user has watched a lot of movies. Let's make this a bit easier to read by only showing the top 10 users by using the rank feature. Now, if this data is correct, user 72315 has watched over 30,000 movies. So let's look at other statistics about these users. I'm going to grab the key value graph and drop it to the right. Then I'm going to assign the main genre to the category and ratings to measure. And I also want to link this to the bar chart. I can do this by using the action features on the right. So if I click on the bar, the number on the right should change to reflect the users. That doesn't look right. It looks like it's adding, not. Let me just go change that to median. That looks better. So for these users, I'd like to drill down from the main genre to the subgenre and see the movie titles they've already rated. So to do this, I'm going to create a hierarchy. And add main genre and subgenres. Okay. So let's drag this hierarchy to the right of my key value. That graph's not very helpful, so I'm going to change that to a tree map. So I'm going to make the colour reflect the rating. And while that's happening, I'm going to link the bar chart like the key value. So the size of the box is how often these have been rated, and the colour indicates the median rating. Let's look at the individual movies and connect these charts together so I can filter from the user ID to the movies. So I already have the user ID linked to the first two graphs. I'm just going to link the tree map to the movie titles. So by default this is showing frequency, but I want it to show ratings. So let me fix that. So let me check when I click on the tree map, the titles change, which they do, so that's good. So this is probably a good time to save the report. So let me do that. I'm going to save that into my project. Projects, movie recommendation, webinar 1, and I'm going to call it Selerity BA report. Save. So the whole list of titles aren't displaying because there's so many of them. So I'm going to fix that by displaying only the top 10 like we did for the users. Okay, why don't we have a look at a user? We can pick, let's have a look at user 92046. From there we can see in the tree map that his highly rated category is crime because of how dark it is. And if we double click on that, we can drill into the subcategories. So in the subcategories, let's look at this small dark box. So he might want to watch more movies in the film noir, mystery, thriller, crime category. This is fine for looking at a history of a user, but I'd like something to give me a recommendation. I'm going to do this by using a simple word cloud. I'm going to make it so that I can select a user's favourite category and subcategory and have the system show me the most highly rated movies, but base that on everyone else's ratings except for that user's. To do this, I'm using drop-down lists. So I'm going to add main genre to the first one and sub-genre to the second one. So I'm going to link all these objects using actions like we did before. And now assign title to the word cloud. Title. I'm going to change the frequency to rating, and we can change the color to frequency. Okay, let's have a look and what we'll get if we pick crime and film noir. If I can find it. Somewhere here. There we go. Okay. So this shows me the highest rated titles based on everybody's data, but we want to remove the user that we were looking at and try and remove movies that he's already watched. So I'm going to add a filter based on user ID, because we'd like to deselect our user, so his ratings won't come up in the cloud. There you go. So now these are what's been recommended for him. It's a simple recommendation. We've got the killings, which were different years. Yeah. So this is a basic recommendations for our user.
Thanks, Kayleen. So you've just seen a quick demonstration of using Selerity BA to create a very simple recommendation system. There are more things that we could have gone through to make the report more automated and user-friendly to a wider audience, but that's all we have time for. One thing I forgot to mention is that the Selerity BA package also includes SAS data preparation. So if you need to manipulate your data prior to visualizing and analysing, you can. And you get SAS Visual Analytics and nearly every data connector SAS have available on the VIA platform. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is part one of a 3-part series and really only scratches the surface of what can be achieved using SAS to build a recommendation engine. Our next webinar will take a look at what we can do when we add visual statistics to the mix, giving us access to powerful statistical methods which can improve our recommendations. Thank you again for taking the time to be with us for this webinar. If you would like more information about what we have discussed or anything else SAS related, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us.